All right. Good day. Good good day. So for those who will be joining us or who will be watching this video later, my name is Sorisha Mafita and I'm going to be your instructor for this coming days on cybersecurity. Today we'll be discussing about introduction to cybersecurity and ethics. But before now we've had a session on computing foundations, introduction to computer generally, introduction to IT fundamentals. So where we explain the fundamental concepts of computing and information technology. This, I think, is an important knowledge you should have, especially for those who have not had any background in IT before or who are just coming into the field for the very first time. So the program is intended to carry everybody from absolute zero to a intermediate or professional level. And so we are starting from the foundation, from the very basics. So in that session, we've done a very high level run through of some basic or important IT fundamental knowledge that you would need as we go through this journey in cybersecurity together. So if you have not watched or if you didn't join us at that time, I have uploaded the videos to the YouTube channel. So I'm going to be advising you to check them out and be up to date with us. But for now, we are going to assume everyone has. And if you have not, just go back and watch it. But for now, I'm assuming everyone has. Um, and yeah, gone through that. So we'll be discussing about protection of systems, protection of data in the digital age. Now, this is the first part of our seven module series in this introduction to cybersecurity. So let's jump right at it. So when we talk about cybersecurity, what are we talking about? I'm very sure a lot of us have heard cybersecurity. As a matter of fact, that's the reason you're here. You might be curious on what it actually means, or you might already know what it means, but you want to get better knowledge. Some of you might be trying to get a career switch, and other people would just want to, get information, get knowledge on how to protect yourselves or your organization. So whichever way that suits you, we start by understanding what cybersecurity is. Now, cybersecurity is the protection of system networks, data from digital attacks. It encompasses technologies, processes, and controls designed to defend against cyber threat. What this means is that cybersecurity include all of the processes, all of the devices, all of the efforts, all of the procedures, the techniques that is put together to protect an IT organization, to protect an IT device, to protect your data, to protect other digital assets, to protect networks from attackers, from malicious attack, or from accidental attacks. Now, there are a lot of people out there that would want your data. There are a lot of people out there that would want to destroy your computer. There are a lot of people out there that would want your money, and through technology they can be able to do that because they have the know-how. So everything we do, all the efforts that's the consolidated efforts to protect systems and data and network um, and information, right, from digital attacks, from hackers, from accidental attackers or malicious attackers. Those things come together, define what cyber security is. So there are some efforts that require human efforts. There are some efforts that require technological efforts. But all these things come together to protect you, to protect your device, to protect the network. That's what cybersecurity entails. So this is very important because in cybersecurity, there's something we call the CIA triad, which is the framework for cybersecurity. This ensures that cybersecurity is able to protect your private data, that's confidentiality, to say all your information that's yours and private to you alone is actually private to you alone and not shared with anyone else. And then cybersecurity shows the protection of integrity. That's to say, information that's sent across over a network, or information that's stored in a device, or information that's been communicated, whatever, is the same information that's reaching the intended recipient. That's to say, along the line where this information is on transit, or where the data is being stored, wherever it is, or whoever is accessing that data from anywhere, the data is still untampered with, the integrity is intact, and there has not been any compromise whatsoever. It's possible for you to be communicating with someone um, at another end, and the information reaching that person is not the same information that's sent across by you, right? So protection against that kind of situation is also an importance of cybersecurity. And then the third one being availability. That's to say, information that's necessary or intended for a particular person or group of persons is available and accessible to them at the exact time that the information is needed. Do you? I hope I'm making a point, right? So if I send an information to someone, and at the time the person needs the information, the person cannot get that information, then there has been an attack on the availability of that information. And cybersecurity is important because it helps protect against that. As you go further, you'll be seeing a lot of scenarios where these things play out, right? So all these integrated, consolidated efforts to ensure that your devices and your data, your information are protected from attackers, from malicious threat actors, and that's cybersecurity. So cybersecurity also ensure that your privacy is protected. Your information is not disclosed to the public without your consent. It also ensures that the things you do in private stays in private. Cybersecurity also safeguard public trust because if, let's say, a banking system, for instance, is having problem with protecting your money or protecting your digital valuables that is in their possession, if they're having difficulty in protecting them because other people are using computers uh, or other computing devices to steal what belongs to you in their custody, I'm very sure you would never want to use that financial institution again. If it's a bank, if it's a whatever, you don't want to use it again. So, but if you are very sure that your valuables are very safe and intact in this financial institution, because you know that their cybersecurity team is very, very strong, and the security posture of the organization is strong. You are confident that whoever tries to attack or steal from that organization is going to not succeed. Then there is a higher chance of you trusting them and putting your devices, putting your money and your valuables with them. So that's another example of how cybersecurity will help to safeguard public trust, and then it can help preserve organizational assets. The organization itself has some valuable um, assets in form of data, in form of devices, anything that's important to them and their business, right? Some of these assets, without them, the business cannot function properly, and an attacker can actually target some of those devices and destroy them or compromise them in an attempt to sabotage the organization's um, efforts in business, or to deface them, or to make people lose confidence in them, just for whatever reason that person wants to do that. And it could even be accidental, and it's not always the case that everything will be an attack from a wicked guy or from a hacker or from a malicious threat actor. Sometimes they can be accidental, but when the organization's digital assets um, are properly secured, then when situations arise, they're able to manage the situation properly. Or oftentimes, when some threat actors try to target some of these digital assets, they fail woefully. And the knowledge you are going to get as a cybersecurity professional is going to help you to be able to safeguard your organization. It can also help you to protect yourself. It can help you to protect the people around you, and it can help you to um, it can it can be a possible career option for you. So there are just so many ways that they play out eventually. But this is what cybersecurity is, and this is why cybersecurity is important. So when we talk about cybersecurity, it's often difficult to talk about it without talking about people known as hackers. And I'm very sure we've heard about hackers, but what exactly does it mean to be a hacker, or who exactly is a hacker? An hacker is an individual who exploits digital vulnerabilities. That's a technical explanation, and I'm going to break it down in simple terms so you understand. A hacker is just a person like you and me that knows computer very well, that knows technology very well, that knows IT very well, and is able to find weaknesses in these computers, in the computer networks, in different areas of an organization, is able to find loopholes, weaknesses, in other words, vulnerabilities that you can take advantage of in order to either sabotage that system, that network, or to steal from that system or that network, or to ruin a person's reputation for whatsoever intent. Some people hack for different reasons, and some of the reasons can be financial gain. That's to say, they are breaking into a system in order to steal money, or they are breaking into a system for someone to pay them. That's an example of how they can make money from hacking um, hacking you or your organization. And some people hack for political activism. You know, um, when the hacker or his group is not in support of what is happening in an organization or in a state, in a country, most of the times in politics, right? It relates with a country, right? I'm so sorry I don't have a lot of knowledge about politics, but yes, a hacker group, a hacking group, or a hacker who's not happy, who's not comfortable with the way things are done in a country, or who believes that the government not is not doing well for whatever reason, they want to fight against the government, or want to promote their own interests against the government, or want to lead an anti-government group, or maybe like a socio-economic or socio-political campaign or school of thought, whatever. They're just doing that to influence other people's point of view against the government, or to make them think in a certain way, just anyhow it goes. But some people can do like that. I'm going to give an example. An election is coming up, and this president um, that's most likely going to win the election is believed to be corrupt by the hacker group, and then they begin to post sensitive information that that man has discussed in public, and then they release in private, and then they begin to release them to the general public to help the public to know that this particular man is a corrupt man and he will not be a good fit as the leader of the country. That's an example. That's just one example out of many that can be given. You understand? And then there's espionage, and then there's personal challenge. Well, a person can hack into a system to steal information, to exfiltrate data, um, maliciously, right? For various reasons. Again, they can sell it, they can just want to sabotage the company, they can want to use it to have competitive advantage over that other company, or over that other country, or over that other person. They might want to use it for blackmail and whatever reasons. Right? Then personal challenge, malicious intent. Personal challenge is also very something. It's something that's very common among hackers. I mean, wanting to brag that I was the person who hacked this system, or I'm able to do this, bet me and see. And then, nah, you cannot do that. Okay, then bet me and see. And then the guy goes ahead and hacks the system just to prove to his friend or to his girlfriend or to his crush, whoever, that is able to do that. So that's another example. But a hacker is someone who is able to find vulnerabilities in a system and exploit them to break the system security in order to access information that are otherwise confidential, um, otherwise classified, private. I don't know if it makes sense. If it does, we move right ahead. So there are different types of hackers. There are white hat hackers, there are gray hackers, there are black hat hackers, and this slide is talking about different types of attackers, and all these three types of hackers are also attackers. But if you listened earlier, I also explained that not all attacks are malicious. There are some that are accidental, right? But that's not what we are talking about right now. We're talking about attackers, people who intentionally want to break into a system or want to damage a system or want to steal data or want to attack you or your organization. And then they could be hackers or a normal person who has malicious intentions, right? So a white hat hacker is somebody who knows how to hack, but his motive is not to steal or to kill and destroy. His motive is not to steal or to create damage. His motive is to find weakness in the system, in the network, in an application, in order to strengthen it better, in order to make it more secure, so that when a real hacker or someone with bad intention tries, the person is going to fail at doing that same thing. So that's what a white hat hacker is, and that's what people like me and people like all of us who went to school to read cybersecurity. Not all of us, but that's like what we are, right? We learn how to hack, we learn how to break systems so that we can secure it better for people who want to damage it. And then they call us cybersecurity professionals. Mhm. The other gray hat hackers, those people can actually do um, the holy things, the ethical things, the things that are acceptable for a while, and then they can also do the terrible things, the bad things, the malicious things, right? Just depending on the context, depending on the situation. Some of these people I think when a white hat hacker wants to hack into a system, typically is going to get permission from the person or the organization he is doing this particular hacking for, the penetration testing for. But a grey hat hacker might not necessarily go and look for that permission. He might just go by himself and find it. And when he finds this weakness, he might decide to report it and tell them that, hey, I found this weakness in your system. If you can close it up, it will be good. But he can also decide to not do that, right? So that's the reason for the word ambiguous in the slide. It's not certain who he is. Like, is he white or is he black? He's just somewhere in the middle. Then the black hat hackers are the guys who are malicious. Malicious means they have evil intention. They are the ones who come to steal, to kill, and to destroy. I'm kidding. But yeah, they exploit the system, break the network security, the application security for their own personal gains to the detriment of the organization or to the detriment of the person that they are exploiting, right? So these are the guys they show in those American movies, those foreign movies that we watch every time, and you see them always wearing that that mask, and then now they hack into the system, and then steal 100 million like that, and all of this. So a black attacker is typically the bad guy. And internal threats, external threats. Internal threats, they're not necessarily hackers, but they are people within an organization that can cause problems to an organization's system, organization's network, or the applications, whatever, by probably misusing the applications or misusing the level of access that they have, or by just being careless with their own processes, right? So something they do can cause the organization to suffer a kind of loss or suffer a kind of damage, right? That might be catastrophic in the long run. So it might be out of ignorance, and they might also have malicious intentions, but because they are within the organization, they're able to cause that problem from inside. So yeah, that's it. So think about a bank, and then one of the staff in the bank who has some specific information decides to use that information uh, to his own advantage. and exploits the bank, or he decides to give that information to somebody outside that knows how to hack, and then the person uses that information and can easily break the bank network. Those kind of things. That's an example of an internal threat. It's just an example. So an example, the external threats could be cyber criminals who don't have any link from with anybody or anything in, like within the inside of that organization. So they have to stand from afar, from outside, and look for a way to penetrate the organization security and break it, right? So these ones, they call them cyber criminals, and even activists and state actors do that. State actors are um, like a heavy duty, be heavyweight hackers that hack on behalf of a country against another country, right? Those are states. So they are very, very big. Most of the times they need support from their own country or from an organization as big um, as a country to target another country. So because of how big the level of attack and damage they can cause is, they tend to take a lot of time to successfully break whatever is their target. So imagine someone from Nigeria now trying to hack into the CIA in America, right? Okay. So it's mostly going to be very difficult if it's just him doing it. But if he has the full support of the Nigerian government in terms of resources, in terms of finance, everything that he's going to need, uh-huh, that it can now be easier for him. But then CIA is not an easy um, target. So they might be doing it in bits, like gradually, and over time they 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 succeed, and then they just wake up one day and say, "Oh, the CIA has been hacked." That's an example, by the way. So yeah, these are the different types of attackers and the kind of damage that they can cause. So what are the consequences of a security breach? A security breach is everything I've been talking about: attack, someone breaking the systems, security, right? That's a security breach. Now, a lot of things can arise from that, right? From an organization standpoint, it can make people to lose trust in that particular organization, right? Imagine when you hear that Zenith Bank has been hacked and you know your money is inside Zenith Bank and you confirmed it that Zenith Bank was actually hacked. Next time you don't want to put your money inside Zenith Bank, right? And then the reputation of Zenith Bank now has been forever affected, right? Another consequence is theft. And theft is easy to understand. Somebody can steal your money by hacking into your system. They can um, they can steal your sensitive information, your private data, right? Things that you don't want other people to see. They can actually infiltrate your device or your network and steal them. Sometimes also from an organization standpoint, there are things, for example, um, 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 what they call them, some copyrighted assets. Okay, that might not be a very good example, but I cannot remember the word. Uh, Trademarks, something related to trademarks. The word is in my head, but I cannot remember. But yeah, there are organizations that have certain assets that are theirs exclusively, and nobody is supposed to have access to it, right? People can access them by breaking into their system and stealing it. There are some trademarked items. There are some company secrets. When I was learning cybersecurity in school, I think they liked making use of the example of Coca-Cola, that they believe. I think everybody believes Coca-Cola has a secret ingredient that no one knows about. And imagine you break into their system and then you find that out. That's just an example. So it's not only money that can be lost. Some sensitive assets and information can also be stolen, right? You can also lose money um, when your system has been hacked. For instance, your company, if it's working under normal working operation in a day, can earn 10 million, but because the system has been hacked for that day and you're not able to work throughout that day, it means you've lost 10 million naira. The 10 million naira was not directly stolen from your account, but you still made 10 million naira loss um, because of the downtime that you're facing at that particular period that your systems are not running. Uh-huh. I hope that makes sense. And financial penalties can also be um, another way to lose revenue when you are hacked because um, um, if an organization is hacked and it's found out that the organization was hacked due to negligence, that organization can be sued. And if they are not able to defend themselves properly in court, they might have to pay huge sum, like exorbitant amount of money, in order to compensate the their customers or whoever is suing them for that loss, for that damage that they faced due to their own negligence. That's another way an organization um, can lose revenue. Another consequence is damage of intellectual property. So yeah, this is what I was trying to remember. Intellectual property and trade secrets, things that belong exclusively to an organization that no one is supposed to know. Hmm? This thing is um is what makes the organization or the person to have advantage in the market. And then other people, other competitors in the market have tried so hard and they're unable um, to have an edge over them because they don't know their secrets. Now, when such an organization is hacked, when their security has been breached, it is possible that they can lose some sensitive things like intellectual properties and trade secrets, and then they lose their competitive edge in the market. In this situation like this, it's possible that an organization is hacked and their trade secret is leaked without them even knowing, or without them knowing early, maybe till a very long time before they find out. So it's not all times that the hacking will be that, oh my God, they've stolen 100 million, like VDM claimed, right? Um, yeah. So if that's understood, we'll move to the next slide. So we've been talking about hackers, we've been talking about cybersecurity, we've been talking about, yeah, but we are in a world um, of rapid advancement of technology, and it's important to find a way to talk about the current emerging technologies and how they relate with cybersecurity. Now, the two most important ones I want to talk about now is AI and blockchain. And we've heard about AI, we've heard about blockchain. How do they affect cybersecurity? Where do they sit in cybersecurity? How do they influence cybersecurity? Now, um, AI came to make things easy for people, came to make tasks easy, right? Let me give an example, Chat GPT. With Chat GPT, you spend less time. Yeah, you spend less time finding or making research to get certain information by just asking, typing some prompts in the ChatGPT. You get a lot of answers that would have taken you time to get. So AI also make the like some tasks very easy to do. There are AI that do graphic design, there are AI that do a lot of things, and you know these things, right? So, but the problem now is that as AI has come to make life better for normal human beings, that's also the way it's making life better for hackers. It's making life easy for cybersecurity professionals. It's making it easy for them to protect systems, yeah, intelligently. But it also makes it easy for hackers to innovate, to find new intelligent means to bypass security. So it's both ways, and now that's a problem as much as it's a solution. So, uh, um, um, in as a cybersecurity expert, you can use the AI like for predictive. Here we said use for predictive threat detection, anomaly identification, and automated response. That's to say, tasks that require you to sit down and do can be automatically, intelligently done in an automated fashion without you having to do a lot to get. But then the concerns now is that AI cyber attacks are also emerging, and then it's also very easy for people to do dubious things, that will have a lot of catastrophic um, effects in the long run. There's something called deepfakes. Here it is such as deepfakes and intelligent malware. Deepfakes are fake data, fake animation, fake videos, fake anything that looks so real that it's difficult for you to tell that it's actually fake. For example, when a video leaks that let's say someone like someone you trust very well, let's say sorry about that. Let's say who can I use? Say a priest, someone you trust so much, or your dad, or maybe you, huh, yeah. And then the video is saying that they caught you on camera stealing from a bank, robbing a bank, robbing a bank here with guns, and you've never left your house, or you know your dad to be someone who can never do that, or your Catholic priest who is always sorry. I'm sorry for using the example of a Catholic priest, but permit me at this time. But yes, your Catholic priest who is always uh, say in church, or always on active duty for the Lord. Haha. Yeah, where did he get the time to do that? And then it becomes very difficult for you to believe. But then you are seeing it on camera. It is very possible that with deep fake, that man, the man's face um, has been used in order to spoil his reputation, or you, it could be you, it could be anyone. So yeah, just imagine someone being caught on camera doing something very bad, but the truth of the matter is that he's not actually the one doing that thing. The video was generated using AI. That's an example of deepfake, right? Intelligent malwares are also another thing. We'll be going into malwares, what they are very soon in our next session. But yeah, malwares are like viruses and other malicious softwares. Malicious softwares like dangerous softwares, right? That can be used by hackers or other people to hack into a system. So through AI now, um, some malwares can be developed so that it is very intelligent enough to find ways to bypass your antivirus so that it can enter your system without your system detecting it. That's another example. So as the cybersecurity professionals are leveraging AI to better protect systems and data and networks and applications, that's the same way hackers or cyber attackers are using the same AI, right, to provide to get themselves innovative means of attacking or of hacking, right? So the next one is blockchain technology. Blockchain provides decentralized, tamper-proof data storage, and yeah, securing transactions, improving identity management, and enhancing transparency in systems. So, anytime we talk about blockchain, we talk about our mind usually goes to crypto and cryptocurrency. Blockchain is decentralized distributed ledger system um, that allows peer-to-peer communication between data nodes, between devices like that. I would not be going deep into what it is right now, but if you already know what blockchain is, you see that it's an emerging technology, right? But they can be used also in cybersecurity to secure transactions. It is through this innovation that crypto trading is possible because it comes with the ability to securely, you know, while it's being decentralized, it's also you can also securely transfer data, and your funds that you are sending from your wallet to another person is, delivered securely, right? It can also be used to improve identity management, um, and enhancing transparency in the sense that since the system is decentralized, um, it's not controlled by one source. It's something that everybody can actually see how the um, how information is flowing, and yeah, in any system where you want transparency to be um, where transparency is paramount. Yeah, blockchain technology can also help in that aspect. So if you guys understood, we'll go to the next slide. And then ethical considerations in cybersecurity. What really separates a cybersecurity expert from a hacker is ethics. Um, a hacker, at the beginning of the session, I explained, as someone who is very good and very skilled with computers, computer network, information technology in general, and is able to find vulnerabilities, to find weaknesses, loopholes in the system, in the application of the networks, in order to break and or bypass the system security. You remember we defined that way earlier. And then a cybersecurity professional like you is also somebody who is also very skilled with computers and networks and applications, information technology generally. So technically, you possess the skill sets that the hackers possess. But what separates you from them is the moral justification or ethical awareness that you have, knowing what is right and doing it, knowing what is wrong and avoiding it. So, yes, that is the difference between a hacker and a malicious hacker and a white hat hacker, or a cyber criminal and a cybersecurity professional. So, um, different countries are going to have laws that are laid down to govern the way information is passed, how communication is done using computing devices, using the internet, and using the cyberspace in general, right? It is your duty as a cybersecurity professional to adhere to all of those rules, to adhere to those laws, right? To ensure that everything you do is in accordance to the laws of that particular country or in accordance to the regulations, policies of a specific organization wherever you find yourself. Sorry about that. Yeah, someone's trying to call me, but never mind. Um, the other ethical consideration is moral responsibility. Yes, you want to there is the part about the laws and then the regulations laid down in a particular country, but then you also have morals. You know what is morally right and what is morally wrong. For instance, your morals will tell you to respect someone else's privacy. And when someone has kept the system, even though the system is unlocked, you know that you don't have the right to be searching through the person's files, things that you know the person is keeping secret. You want to just go there and find them out. Yeah, the person might be careless, the person might be nonchalant, the person might be ignorant to cybersecurity and cyber security processes, or the person might not know anything at all. But you who know, it's your moral responsibility to be fair and to uphold your own integrity every time in everything you do. Then there is professional responsibilities. Earlier I said that organizations have regulations. We can also say codes of conduct that help them to maintain their confidentiality, to help them maintain their organizational things, right? Uh-huh. So you know that you are supposed to follow these codes of conduct squarely and not waver and not be tempted to, compromise in any way. So all of these are your responsibility ethically as a cybersecurity professional, right? So if this is understood, we'll go to the next slide. So online identity and privacy is a very interesting thing to talk about in a world where everybody is online, in a world where social media is at the front of every youth or every person who's trying to sell something, the e-commerce world and everything. Yeah, everyone is online, everyone is doing something, everyone is posting something, everyone is saying something, everyone has an account here or has an account there. But who are you online? This is the question. Now, everybody has a profile on the internet as long as they are on the internet. The same way they have a profile physically. The same way your national ID card has information about you, right? And or your international passport or your right, those kind of things. Yeah, that's the same way you have a profile online. So they might be scattered here and there in different platforms, different systems, like that, like that. But when someone puts all of them together, they can get a full profile on you online, and then that way they can tell who you are and what you do, what you represent. That takes me into what they call PII. PII stands for Personal Identifiable Information. That's the information that's specific to you that can be used to identify you on the internet or on the cyberspace. So you have a name, you have a gender, you have a country of residence, and maybe you attended so school, you have so height. Those are information that can be used to identify you personally. You also have a profile picture. I shouldn't forget to mention that. By the time someone knows your name, then has your profile picture and all your pictures that you've been posting um, online. For example, they know your social security numbers for those people who are in the United States, or your NIN for those of us in Nigeria, right? Then they have all of those things, right? That are unique to just you. Those are your personal identifiable information, right? Those are the things they can use to identify you online. So bringing all of this information together, your profile can be built. So as you keep using based on this PII I explained now, as you keep jumping from one website to another, from one platform to another, someone who sits down to track you is able to tell that, yeah, if your name is Ezekiel, for instance, Ezekiel went to Facebook at 9 a.m. today, and then Ezekiel logged in to TikTok at 12 p.m. Ezekiel did something at so time, like that, like that. They are able to know that this person who did that is Ezekiel because all of the PII gathered on you match the same one that's actually yours. And now this PII is very important because when someone has it, the person is able to replicate your profile online. And then if that person is able to do that, it's possible that um, that person can create a profile using this PII and do something on your behalf on the internet, whereas you know nothing about it. And if that thing is a criminal thing, it means you can be held accountable or held responsibility until you are properly proven to be innocent. So that's it. But yeah, all of these things show who you are on the internet. So it is very important that you are mindful of your footprints. Footprints on internet, digital footprint or online footprint is just the track record or the log of all the things you are doing on the internet, all your activities, where you are going from like that, like that. Yeah, that's what digital footprint means. So yeah, your PII and your digital footprint can tell a lot about you, and it can be used against you in a whole lot of ways that you cannot even imagine. So it is very important for you to be intentional about what you do online, about what information about you post online, or where you put your personally identifiable information in order to reduce the risk of your identity being stolen, and so that someone is not going to do something using your own identity on the internet. Let me give you an example. If someone knows your PIN and the person steals your ATM card, it means that person is able to do a transaction on your behalf on your account. It means that person can steal your money, right? But the person is able to steal your money because the system thinks that you are the one. Everything matches your profile as far as the system is concerned, but the truth in reality is that you are not the one initiating the transaction. So if you can remember that scenario, then that's just what an example of identity theft can represent. So somebody can go um, like wearing a mask that says this is Ezekiel, whereas it's not Ezekiel, and the person does something, and everything is logged against Ezekiel, and Ezekiel is going to be held responsible. Uh-huh. So yeah, that's very very nice. Now, smart devices and you. Now, why this is coming in this place is that we are still going to talk a lot about digital devices and IoT, all of that when we are doing networking. But I'm talking about it now. What are smart devices? Your smart devices are maybe like your cell phones, your smartphones, it could be Android, iOS, whatever, your smartwatch, your health bracelet. Some of those people who have sophisticated homes, right? Mhm. That the house is, AI powered, for example. The house is intelligent. I mean, you can just speak to your bulb, uh, light on, and the light comes on. Or you can just get to the door and the door automatically opens, or opens when it sees that you are the one trying to enter. All of those things are, you know, beautiful ways technology has advanced our life. But these things collect information about you, your personal information, in order to be able to do that thing, right? For instance, your health bracelet, your smartwatch that you're wearing is able to tell um, your health conditions, right? It's collecting that data and it's actually sending that data somewhere, but you don't know where the data is being sent to. Now you have a profile. Now you also have a health information that's matching that profile. Someone can just look at wherever the data is sent to. Somebody can just look at the record that has been delivered to them and know that Mr. Ezekiel, age 25, height 170, 170 cm, complexion, dark of skin, this, that, and so the person can also know that okay, this person also have a heart condition, or this person have so condition like that. Using that information, the person can use it to get to you, right? Or the person can decide to leak that information, right? Or maybe you're doing your private things in your private space, in your private room, and your phone is just watching you because your phone has a camera, right? You don't know that that camera is active. A hacker might be somewhere and monitoring you through your smartphone while you are doing that private thing. In the end, the guy decides to release it to the public or threaten you that if you don't send so amount of money, he's going to release that your private thing that you're doing. I don't want to say the private thing that you're doing. No, see that might know that private thing, but yeah, it might now be threatening to release that information until you send that money. It could be a very huge sum, and then you have no option than to pay. And then if you're not able to pay, the information is released to the public, and your reputation is damaged, your public trust is ruined, and all of those things like that. So yeah, um, the smart devices can be used to track you, and cyber attacks can be done through them. Using the example, for instance, of someone monitoring you through your Android phone camera, yeah, that's also possible. I see that there are lots of things that you're going to be hearing about as we go on that are very, very possible, but just hanging there. Let's proceed. So, how do you protect your data? Now, we've talked about how all your personal identifying information are flying here and there, here and there, and there. Who have those information? What do they do with those information? You're supposed to know them. You're supposed to be mindful of them so that the places you don't trust, you don't put your personal informations there. Some people, some like medical organizations collect your health information, right? You go to the hospital, they run tests on you, they put all of those things in their record against your name. But then some smart devices also collect your health information and then they are transferring it from that place, you know, that from your wrist. I mean, it's a device on your hand that's collecting the information, but they're transferring it to a server somewhere in another country, in another continent entirely. Those people are the ones who probably manage that data. But you need to know where your data is going to, so you know whether you can trust them or not. Your internet service providers can also collect data about you. Yes, what websites you actually visit, your internet service provider like MTN, Glo, all of them. For these ones are also in Nigeria. But then if you are in America, I think there is Vodafone, Abi, Verizon, all of them. They can also be, they actually do collect information about the website you visit, how long you stayed online, your live location, and all of those things like that. Yes, so advertisers also collect your information. So basically, they pay money to those social media platforms that you're always visiting, say Facebook, for example. They pay money for those people to those people so that they can give them um, they can pay money to some of those people to give them some of your maybe like your browsing history, your browsing activities, or your active hours when you are more active online and when you are less active like that. They can pay money to get that information so that they can use it to send some targeted advertisements to you to get you to buy from them. But yes, your data is reaching people that you have no idea are with your data, yes. And then websites also collect your data. That's very, very, very obvious. I mean, websites, Facebook already have your information, your name, your picture, and all the pictures you have been posting is in their database, their databases. So they can, yeah, they're the ones with that. So if you trust Facebook, then yeah, you can keep putting your information in Facebook. But then imagine a platform you don't trust that just like Facebook just emerged. Would you be comfortable giving them your data like that? Or what happens when Facebook is hacked or whatever website you're talking about? What happens when it's hacked? Can all your private information be stolen from there? Do you trust them that well? These are questions you should ask yourself. So you must know where your data is collected, is transferred to, where they are stored, right? So you can protect your own information, right? To a large extent, to a very large extent, the owners of the websites, maybe Facebook and the likes, they have their own role to play in protecting your information that's with them. But then you also have your own role to play by using strong passwords, by using two-level of authentication, and by updating your software, your applications regularly. We're going to talk a lot about passwords and multi-factor authentication as we go further. But strong passwords is already something you know that if your password is not strong, someone can easily access your device or hack into your system and carry things that they are not supposed to carry just because they are able to access your account or your device, right? Multi-factor authentication helps so that when someone has multi-factor authentication is just you putting two level of security. Like you're using password and you're using biometrics, it's two-level authentication. That's just an example. Some systems can warrant the use of OTP, right? There are different levels, but it ensures that when one level of when your password, for example, has been cracked, then the person still has to go through another stress of opening the second identification or authentication method before he's able to access. So it makes it harder for that person to access your system, your device, right? So yeah, we've been talking about data so far. There are different types of data. There are but right now we talk about before we talked about personally identifiable information. Now we're talking about organizational data, data that belongs to an organization. As a cybersecurity professional, you most likely find yourself working in an organization or in an organization or with an organization. So there are different types of data and you should know them. There are transactional data, data that relates to the organization's transactions in terms of sales or customer relations or customer data, right? There's intellectual property. We've been talking about them since patents, designs, those things that belong specifically to the organization that's not supposed to be seen by anybody, and it could be dangerous when this particular something is stolen by another person, and then yeah, then there's financial data that must be protected, and you know what financial data means already: the budget, payment record, transaction history, all of those things that pertains finance. All right. So, how do you protect your data? You protect them using access controls, using encryption, employee training, and regular monitoring. Access control is just a way of making sure that only the people who are supposed to have access to a particular data or to a particular resource is able to access it and no one else, right? There are different kinds of access control mechanisms. We are going to talk about them extensively as we go forward in other sessions, but just know what it is, and know that it's a way of protecting your data. Then there's this encryption. Encryption will probably not hide it or will not keep it away from anybody, but it just ensures that only the people that the message or the data is intended for can access it. That is to say, the data when it gets to people who are not the intended user, they will not be able to read it. It's going to be meaningless to them. then only the person who the message is intended or the data is intended for will be able to read that particular data. That's encryption. And then training the people, just like I'm training you right now, training employee in an organization is very important to help them know what these things are and how to protect them properly, right? And monitoring the organization data, like, always checking to make sure that the security controls are intact and that there has not been any breach so far. And if there is any breach, so that you can very quickly begin to address it before it escalates into something that is uncontrollable. So, yeah, um, so far so good. We've covered a lot of grounds, and oh my god, this session is already very long. But yeah, we've talked about a lot of things. There's still a lot for you to know. But for now, I want you, if it's possible, play this recording again and again until you fully understood. I'm going to drop materials that you keep reading till our next session, so that you can concretize this knowledge that you've gained today. And then when you have any question, don't forget to post them in the group chat, or you send them to me privately, personally, and I'm going to, as much as I can, try to explain them, to answer your questions. So we talked about the importance of security. We talked about ethical responsibilities and how to protect your personal identifiable information and your organization data. And knowing this is already a lot you have known as a cybersecurity enthusiast. So thank you so much for joining us today, joining me today, joining us whatsoever. I don't know. But thanks so much for coming, and I hope today's class is impactful. Please, I'm tempted to say please like and subscribe and share our video, but I don't know. It's a it's a private. Well, I don't know. You like, comment, share if it applies, right? That would be very good to help the video to reach more people. And if you feel it has been helpful to you, then you'll be contributing to making it help other people. So thank you so much for joining. I really, really appreciate. See you in the next session. Bye.